inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Quest. Now with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we're looking at our 3rd Elven mercenary, the Arbalist. This is another brand new one. I guess kind of brand new one because the human mercenaries had the crossbowman. So maybe this is just another take on that to justify having a single-handed kind of gun crossbow. But either way, it's a pretty cool mini. I like the updates to it to make it like Elven and Ranger-like. It's pretty cool overall, so let's get to it. To start this off, we're going to do Basilicanum Gray for our base coat on all of our gray pants and gray clothing as well as metal. There's a couple areas on this miniature that has like metal armor, more so than the other ones have had, I think. Like the chain skirt and some armor plating on the hips and the shoulder and what have you. So there's actually a lot of spots to keep an eye out when it comes to metal as opposed to the last couple that we've done. So go all around, hit all those metal parts, as well as our gray clothing, like the pants and the gloves, and don't forget that little mask that they always have. There's also something that I forgot, and you'll see it, but I do come back and grab it off camera, because there is so many more metallic parts to this one. On the quiver, there's like a steel metal lining at the top, so don't forget to grab that. Then we're coming in with Gray Seer to add back some detail, some depth, and some texture to our pants and clothing and stuff. So that'll be the pants, the mask, and the gloves. So just go around there, and like we did on the other ones, we're going to add back a little bit of interest with our Gray Seer onto those gray clothing. Orc Flesh for this iconic green hood. Every one of these minis has had a splash of color that I've really liked to kind of work in and accentuate. How are we going to make this pop more than usual, right? I feel like this splash of color and really making it bright or vibrant or noticeable will help see these minis on the board. So we're using Orc Flesh for this, and we're going to go all around and hit that hood. You don't have to worry about isolating the rim. I know that the rim is gold. We'll get over that. We'll paint it over with some gold later. Militarum Green. We're going to use that for the undercloak. There's 2 shades of green on this guy. And we're going to use this kind of drab military style green, this olive green, to go for the under tunic skirt overhang thing going on here. And that'll help break up the silhouette. That'll help break up the greens, and also stand out as a big green. Snakebite leather. You can see here on the snakebite leather we're doing these straps on the boot, and I hope you can see, but under those boots we have some chain on the front. So that's another spot that you can see. There's lots of hidden metallics on this guy, so really take your time when you're blocking those out and don't forget them as best you can. We're going to do all the leather bits and the wooden crossbow with this snakebite leather. Element Flesh for our flesh. And there's not a lot of gold on this one. As usual with these rangers, not a lot of gold. So just the weapon we're going to do with the gold. And if you did isolate the rim of the cloak, you could do that as well. I chose not to. It's a little fiddly. Here we go. We got gunmetal for our steel metallic blocking, our silver metals. That's the knee pads. There's some buckles on the boots. Don't forget, I'm showing you here now, don't forget, there's chainmail on the front of those boots, as well as chain, scale, whatever you want to call it, on the hips that they got going on. This banding on the glove is also silver metal, so don't forget to do those as well. There's Gonna keep saying it. Lots of not obvious metallic stuff. So just keep going back. Keep an eye out. Keep going. Looking. And then we have our gloss dark wash, which you can do with, if you have Null Oil gloss, you're lucky. Use that. Otherwise, a dark tone followed by a gloss varnish or a mix of the two, your own mix. Here we go, Retributor armor. You can see now I'm doing that lining on the cowl, on the hood, right? You don't have to do the blocking in to just paint over. It is paint. We can layer over, and so that's what we're doing. And then a gloss flesh wash over top to just help kind of unify it with the surrounding areas. Again, use a flesh wash and then do a gloss on top, or a mix. Warpstone Glow. We're using this to clean up any of the orc flesh. I finally have some Citadel greens, so War Colors is probably going to get retired for a little while unless I'm doing some Mantis stuff. So yeah, we're going to clean that up with the Warpstone, and then we're going to go Moot Green over top to get a brighter highlight on those folds. Just go around and see where the folds are, see where you want to hit them, and those topmost parts you can go around with that Moot Green. Really make it vibrant, really make it stand out against the rest of the miniature. This color is really going to identify them on the board. And we're doing the skin, so we have Cadian Flesh Tone, our usual go-to for cleaning up some skin tide marks, and our first kind of reintroduction of mid-tones on our flesh like we normally do. So you go around, hit those little elbows, the tiny biceps, and some face. Kislev Flesh for our next highlight. You know the deal. This is a paler skin tone we're going for this elf. So just go around, hit those highlight spots. Continuing with our last skin highlight, we're going to use Pallid Witch Flesh to get those hot, glossy skin highlights, those brightest points, and add a lot of interest in our topmost parts. I don't think you need me to tell you twice, but that face in there is very tiny, so take your time. Even I messed up and had to go back and fix. We have Chrome here. We're going to use that for the highlights on the metals. So all the silver metallics, remember there's lots of them, so kind of do your spot check and go around. I hope you remembered what you painted. And as well as the gold, so the hilt of the sword, as well as the gold cowl. You can see here I'm doing there's some interesting folds there, so you can get some cool little spot highlights going on. Coming in with Wraithbone here, and we're just going to dry brush that over the crossbow to just pick up some interest and add a little bit more texture and detail onto that crossbow, make it a little more interesting. And we're also going to use it to spot on some feathers, add some detail to the feathers on the arrows for the quiver and the crossbow. As well as you can see here that Agrax Earthshade is going on top of some stitches. You can use the Wraithbone for those stitches as well, and then Agrax on top. Then we're doing our basing like normal with a gray paint, texture paint, dry brush, wash, and a dry brush. And there you have it. We have one Elven Arbalist all painted up. Pretty quick. Not a lot of colors to put down, just a lot of area in this case. And for me, and probably for you guys, the hardest part is going to be that little tiny face in the hood. Other than that, I think this is a pretty standard bread and butter mini. I think you guys, if you followed along, can manage this one and come up with a really cool paint scheme like this. You can change that hood up if you don't want it to be green. Remember with these mercenaries, even though we're following the artwork cards, you don't have to. And this is a perfect opportunity to make this like really vibrant, really bright, make it your own. Like a red hood would be cool. That's always kind of classic. So don't be afraid to break away from the standard art that you got going on. But I found this guy pretty enjoyable to paint. Hopefully you did too. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this guy, what you're thinking of Dreadmoon and the miniatures we have going on, how your painting journey's going. Give me a likey, subscribe-y if you haven't. We're well on our way through Dreadmoon. Only a few more miniatures left. If you've subscribed to my Patreon, you can see some behind-the-scenes scheduling. You know what's coming up next, what we have next on the docket for May, 5 weeks. We also have a Discord server with some fun people, and your name could be in the credits here as a supporter. Otherwise, that's all I got for you this week. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!